Hello, Speed Gaming 5. Welcome to the Winners Bracket Finals for Link to the Past Randomizer Spoiler Log at Speed Gaming Live 2023. We've got two incredible runners for you today. Andy versus Gammachuu. I have no idea who I'd pick in this, but maybe my partner Specky Specs knows. You got a favorite in this?
This one's gonna be really close. Like, I mean, Andy obviously has like overall more top execution. I mean, Gammas is amazing, but I'd argue right now Gamma might be the stronger spoiler rider, just currently with how much time he's put into it. That's arguable though. So, but he's two of the best to ever do it. I'm really excited to see this match. Oh, and two different starts. Interesting.
Yeah, divergence out the gate.
Yeah, this is what I was interested. So in this seed, you clearly go to CAC first. There's a whole bunch of stuff in CAC area. I was interested to see how we're gonna route CAC because it's really interesting. There's cons from going from the south up, and there's cons from doing north to south. But CAC is stacked today. Like we're gonna get all kinds of items here, so it's interesting to me to see. And Gamma not getting the good RNG with the bomb.
Yeah, I mean that's a risk. Okay, that's one bomb, which is really all he needs because I can understand why he is going for the race game first.
Yeah, so there's some more for Andy, and then he'll probably do Lost Words drop down for a bottle, I'm guessing. And Gamma wants to get these boots here from Maze Race. And this is what's interesting because you want to do the Lost Woods stuff, and but we do want to do Sick Kid, hence why Andy got that bottle. So but Gamma's getting the boots first, and we'll be able to also do some other nice things doing South CAC first, but they're gonna not probably have a bottle for Sick Kid, which is a negative here.
Yeah, so he might have to backtrack a bit. Oh no, he's saving and quitting and coming back through Sank. I have a hard time believing this saves time, but I guess we'll see when they're both done with CAC.
Yeah, interesting. But yeah, you're gonna see a whole bunch of items in a moment for both the players. After they don't have everything, but they're gonna have a good starting set of equipment.
Early health is also nice given how limited health typically is in a spoiler race. Wow, 2 full heart containers there in blinds.
Yeah, Cackwell and Blind's Hut are stacked today with some nice safeties.
I mean, 5 heart containers 2 minutes in is a luxury.
And honestly, with Andy and Gamma, they can pretty much beat the game with that. They might probably want at least like one reasonable safety, and they have a red potion. So like red potion, 5 hearts. Good spoiler players can pretty much get through the whole game this way. Not ideal, but you can do it.
You will notice, by the way, that we already have pendants and crystals, pendles and crystants, marked because the runners will not be doing a map check because that's in the spoiler log. So shout outs to our tracker Nervendolp for taking care of that.
And see another heart container. Like we already got 3 heart containers. That's luxury. You're normally happy to even get more than like 5 hearts. You're only happy if you can get that much in a race. So 6 is fantastic.
We should also mention that since this is the Winners Bracket Finals, both of these runners are guaranteed no worse than 3rd place overall, and therefore both of them are guaranteed a cash prize out of this tournament, because the top 3 all get a cash prize.
So real quick, so here's one of the cons. Here's the biggest. The 2 cons of Andy's route is when you don't have boots for CAC, which isn't a big deal, but you have to go to Tavern for 300 rupees and then walk up back to Merchant to get this sword. Which isn't hugely bad, but it was like one of the interesting mix-ups. Gamma was gonna, Gamma started from top, so he has the same issue because he didn't go south all the way up, which is probably so smart. So no, Gamma has the same problem. Yeah, Andy will come out ahead here.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, if this weren't a spoiler race, can you imagine getting this much stuff in Lost Woods and CAC?
Yeah, this is really good. So yeah, Gamma did pick the slow ride. It did seem odd. I mean, also Gamma did get bad RNG with the bombs, wasted a bit of time, but that's a gamble. So Oh, not getting the sword. He did not... Gamma not grabbing the sword.
Oh, that's kind of surprising. That could hurt him. I didn't check where the other swords are.
There's gonna be a free one here in Dam that I bet he'll grab. I bet this is intentional. Because all 4 swords in this seed are not that bad to get. I would say. So Gamma might be intentionally skipping that one because of the fact that you have to go to Tavern to get your money, and then walk back up to Merchant. Oh, and getting the nice 50-50 out of that rock for a bomb. Yeah, Gamma's picking this sword. I wonder if Annie will grab sometime soon. Because we're not doing Swamp the Seed, it's a pendant. So you can't combine this with Swamp. Oh, Gamma's gonna go straight to Desert. Okay.
Interesting. I mean, there's important things there. Oh, but Andy's getting an early hook shot out of Mini Moldworm that Gamma doesn't have. And Powder. Another nice safety. I haven't checked if Magic Bat is anything, but... Again, in spoiler, if you can find safeties along your way, you grab them.
Yeah, that's a free safety. That Powder being there with the hook shot, and that hook shot being hard to acquire early on in the seed. Also, why would you skip it when it's that free? It's super nice. This seed's... The male grades, no one will probably grab, but otherwise, this is really good safety-wise as a seed.
So...
Okay, I kind of like this by Andy, because Andy's going to... I see what Gamma's going to do versus what Andy's doing. So Andy's doing Molten Cave to get the hookshot and Powder, and then going to grab the sword from Dam, and then going to go over to Desert to get the item that Gamma's getting. But I think I know what Gamma's going to do in a moment.
Yeah, fortunately we don't actually need to beat Landmos. Not that we could if we wanted to, since we don't have a fire source yet.
So Gamma's going to go to Molten Cave next, but he's going to combo into another check. I kind of like this.
So do we think he'll wait until he gets the flute to pick up the sword from Bottle Bender?
He might be doing that, yeah. He'll probably grab that sword because I think it would be convenient enough at some point in the seed.
I mean, you definitely want Tempered if you can get it. I haven't checked where the other 2 are.
The other swords are
Speaking of flute...
Yeah, there's our flute.
Okay, so he'll grab it when he activates flute.
Yes, this actually makes sense, but he didn't grab the money, but he still can't. He still doesn't have money.
Oh, why so he doesn't?
So if he'd wanted it here, he could have grabbed the Tavern money earlier, but he's choosing to completely skip this sword right now, and he may never get it. The other 2 swords are not that bad, so this is not that unreasonable. But we'll see how it pays out. But it's interesting, because I would see a sword like that, and I would never think to skip it. I'd be like, yeah, I'm grabbing the Tavern money, and I'm getting that sword. But it definitely seems extremely intentional by Gamma, so there's a reason why Gamma's putting this sword off, or never getting it.
Yeah, I'm just looking here. So, on the one hand, there's a sword in Harmless Hellway in Pot, and you have to go back there because the big key's in Compass Chest. But that means you're spending a small key, which can affect your routing. So we'll see if Andy passes up that sword and is able to take advantage of better pod routing.
Yeah, the thing is you have to grab another key, and in pod routing that can actually be not always ideal. It can be pretty slow to grab an extra key.
Wow, that was an interesting bonk in Mini Moldworm Cave. I'm not sure I've seen that before.
Oh, he just bonked over the pit.
Oh yeah, over the top of the pit, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good strat. I've seen people do that. Whenever you finish off killing the mold dumps and you're at the top of the room and you have boots, it's a nice way to get into the door faster.
Gamma not taking any chances with the fake flipper setup and using a bomb for it.
Yeah, honestly, if you have bombs to burn, it can save you some good time.
Andy, on the other hand, just doing it without buffer or anything.
Well, he did do a couple sword buffers, but yeah.
Yeah.
So Gamma is technically slightly ahead, but he doesn't have Master Sword, so, and doesn't have money from Tavern. And has one less bomb. But that's
yeah, there's the Moon Pearl, which is kind of funny because the game wants you to first get the mitts in the mirror to get your flippers out of Checkerboard Cave before you get the Moon Pearl, but I don't think we're going to see the flippers.
Now we'll never see flippers in this seed. And this makes sense that they'd come to Easter next. There's some things we want here. In fact, this is basically required in the seed. There's no way around this.
Yeah, and, well, we can beat Eastern, so presumably they'll do that at the same time.
And yeah, the extra sword does not speed up Eastern, so not having the better sword won't affect anything here.
Yeah, so we're basically synced up except for Gamma being down a sword.
Yes, this is upper bracket finals, chat. Or winners finals, if you want to call it that. So worst case, whoever loses this, we're still getting his sword in this tournament.
Yeah, and as we posted in chat, third still gets you $53 as we pull the hammer out of the second chest in Eastern. Second gets you 190, so whoever wins this can't do worse than second overall, so they're guaranteed $190, which is pretty nice.
And that hammer is the main reason we came in here early. But since we have that nice bow from Cackwell, might as well, beat this crystal dungeon while we're here. It's not going to get any faster. Only thing is you don't have any fire sources, which is not because the players wouldn't. I mean, you don't need them for here. We got 6 hearts, like back if Eastern's not scared. Oh, Gamma almost forgetting the ice rod.
That would be bad.
That would have been bad.
That, given Andy's execution, that would have been a run killer.
Yeah, we should be over. You don't want to come back to Eastern for that ice rod. You'd have to, but yeah, that's a GG. At the caliber of either of these players, if either one of them makes a massive blunder, it's probably GG. So you can't have massive blunders. Even small mistakes that for most spoiler winners would be survivable for these in this space, it's not good. Seconds matter here.
Yeah, when you get to spoiler at this level. And just a shout out to the other 6 runners who are still standing in this tournament: Relkin, Humbug, Jesse, Gem, Telethar, and Matt7898. The 6 of them will have to duke it out to 1, who will then face the loser of this match to play for either third place or going to the grand finals. And actually, the first of those is going to be tomorrow night, Matt versus Telethar.
By the way, Andy got through that dark room decent bit faster than Gamma. By a few seconds.
Yeah, so Andy actually takes the lead out of that. As you were saying, overall Andy's execution is probably a little bit better, even though Gamma's execution is also top rate.
Yeah, Gamma's top rate. I mean, there's a few, I'll say MG type strats we won't see Gamma do, although we're not going to come up as much in this seed, since we don't have to go to Swamp or something like that, or, Andy might go for Zero Cycle Argus, Gamma wouldn't.
So there's our first crystal at just over the 13-minute mark. So where to now? Just do pod? Nope, we're fluting away. Probably to the mountain. There's stuff on the mountain.
You have to go mountain now.
Nope, Andy's doing pod.
Actually, pod does make sense. Never mind, pod makes sense. You don't have to do pod here, but it's completely reasonable. Well, what is the benefit of doing this now?
We'll see how each of them treats the sword in Harmless Hellway, because either... Oh, Gamma's skipping pod for the time being.
Yeah, I actually don't think doing pod here makes any sense. Doing pod here makes no sense to me.
Well, we'll see how Andy handles it. I was going to say, the other thing is, Either Andy goes to Harmless Hellway, in which case he'll be up another sword, or he doesn't, in which case he can save a key.
So I see what Gamma's doing. Gamma, this is smart by Gamma. He's grabbing this Ether Medallion for TR, and then going up mountain with that Ether Medallion for TR. The reason I don't like Pod here is, one, there's nothing in Pod, really, that we need for the progression chain, and you're doing this in the dark. You can just do it later with items that let you see in the dark.
Hey, chat pointing out, Gamma still doesn't have enough money.
Yeah, Gamma will get money here on
Just
these
as
other
he
places.
couldn't pay off the bottle vendor, he can't pay off Kiki.
Yeah, which I think is all intentional, but he's doing Pod. I don't know what Andy's doing Pod right now, in all honesty. This is weird to me.
Yeah. Especially with what Gamma's going to show us here on the mountain.
Yeah, because
that's why I was thinking the runners would go to the mountain.
Yeah, no, what Gamma's doing makes more sense to me at this point. What Andy's doing is not wrong. You're gonna have to do dark Pod when you could have easily avoided it.
So there's a mirror for Gamma. That always helps with routing.
Yeah, and you get a mirror, which makes Pod routing easier because now you don't have to death whip when you come back. So this is rude to me from Andy because now he's doing it without a mirror for easy getting around Pod, and also doesn't have fire sources.
Also saves you some save and quits to get from the Dark World to the Light World. So there's our other sword. So Gamma will pick up Tempered in Pod. Andy, I'm guessing, will get Tempered here, since he has a spare key. But that other sword is on the way. I mean...
Yeah, exactly.
Andy might as well pick up other sword since he'll be in that room.
You might skip it. You don't have to go, I think, into that room if you don't want the sword. You need to go to Paradox. Let me look.
Oh, was there nothing?
Yeah, the mirror is in the other part with only 2 items.
Yeah, I thought Gamma had grabbed something else in Upper Paradox.
He grabbed money. There was money in there.
Okay.
So
Gamma, that was just his money, and Andy already has money.
So Gamma basically chose to grab that sword. I think Andy will skip that one. He'll grab the mirror probably, but will probably skip the sword and the money. Because Andy instead grabbed the merchant sword. Gamma might still grab the... Gamma will probably just grab the merchant sword later, I would expect, versus the Pod one. But we'll see. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe Gamma will grab both.
And normally dashing over here to do Hera would be a little out of the way, and you'd be better off just doing it before... Ooh, as Gamma goes down the middle hole! Ouch!
That's a huge mistake for Gamma. You do not want to get knocked down that hole.
Yeah, that kills like at least half a minute.
Andy had a good total room. I mean, you expected from him to know how to do a good dark totals. So barely losing time. I'd say Andy more lost time because of the having the death rope and having a slow like main hub dealing with that switch in Pod.
But yeah, I was gonna say normally this would be a little out of the way and you just do Hera immediately before GT. However, Gamma is gonna need to pull something off of the Ether Tablet.
Yeah, I still prefer Gamma's route here. I mean, I liked how Andy did CAC area better, but I like how Gamma's routed after that, minus the blender. Because because Gamma's gonna get to go to Pod with the mirror and with fire sources.
Right, though from Harmless Hellway, I'm not sure if the mirror saves you any time. It may be just as... I think it is faster at that point just to go over to...
That's fair. The mirror may not actually make an impact, but the fire sources definitely make your life easier.
Oh, yes. Especially in the Terrapin basement.
Yeah, I'd give Gamma grabbing this. These silvers are free enough. Usually with silvers, if you can do it, get them before Vidi, then you can basically say like, does it take less than 40-50 seconds to grab these silvers? If so, if answer is yes, then it's usually worth to grab them between the time save you get, like 30 seconds on Ganon, and then like what, 10-20 on Vidi maybe? Probably 10 seconds on Vidi.
Yeah, the only thing is the amount of time he's now spending circling around here.
Probably still worth it. It's at least even, but I think worth it. And then you can do faster, land mode 2, no magic
Yeah, I guess
use.
since he was able to do the bomb jump.
Oh, and faster Helma second phase for Gamma. And you won't have that, but Gamma will.
If you fail that bomb jump, then you've immediately lost all the time. But yeah, I think he probably does come out slightly ahead since he was able to do the Spec Rock bomb jump. And now let's see how Andy plays the mountain. Will he play it pretty much the same way as Gamma? If nothing else, he'll have a slightly easier Moldorm fight, just because he's untempered.
Yeah, that is an advantage for Andy here. I mean, Gamma could have made that happen with the bottom orchard one if they had really wanted tempered.
Yeah. Well, and assuming Gamma does TR here as well, again, he'll have to do a Master Sword Trinex, which is a slower fight than tempered Trinex.
You just hit the hammer. It's still slower than tempered, but not too much. Another free heart container.
And you were saying about fire sources. How
Yeah,
about
lamp,
that? Both of
and
them.
fire water in here, which is funny. Which is why now it's a bit easier that Andy get in the hover as normal instead of doing the bomb jump. But yeah, lamp and fire water being here and then you have to go to TR here before you can't do TR up for GT, which is what you normally do. So there's a reason that both our players will be doing TR here instead of saving it as the last dungeon.
And thank you, Homemade Beer, for the raid. I hope Enemizer treated you well.
But yeah, thanks to Andy's issues with the fog clip and pod, and Gamma's issues with Moldorm, it's pretty even. It's going to be a little bit before we see things even up. It'll probably be after Gamma beats pod that we'll see things even up, like where we're at. That's if Gamma even beats pod next.
I feel like you would. You want to get that sword. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he'll get it from Bottle Vendor after all this time, since he will have to do Thieves in Skull Woods. So he's going to be fluting to 3.
Yeah. I think after TR, only thing we're missing right now is the Mario Medallion. And then for Gamma, he still wants to get one more sword, ideally. And Andy will get the things we saw Gamma get in a little bit.
Yeah, let's see if Andy goes for silvers.
I would expect it. I think
Yeah, he is.
I think it's pretty easily worth it here.
Oh, Andy's going to hover directly to the silvers.
Yeah, if you can hover, it saves even more time, even more worth. I did forget, this is one spot where hovering will save some time.
Right, you can't bomb jump north in that cave.
Gamma's Trinex would be a little bit slower, but because Gamma will have to use Hammer, so I'll have to take a little bit longer, and you have to pause a couple times, but it's not that much slower with good execution.
So, this is one of those nice TR layouts where if you were go moding it, you wouldn't have to touch Laser Bridge. But we're not in go mode. We will have to touch Laser Bridge.
Yeah, key layout in this TR was super nice. Yeah, TR is kind of scary, although at this point both the players have not terrible equipment. No cape or Borna, but other than that, you know, pretty good amount of hearts and a red potion for safety.
No
and hook
half
shot to dodge
magic.
stuff. Yeah, no half magic, but you got silvers and other things. You don't have to do Ice Palace, which is where we're normally most concerned about magic. But what was I going to say? Yeah, there's the
Half
Quake.
magic's in the waterfall. I don't think we're going to go there.
Nah. we got the Quake, so Gamma is now in go mode. We'll probably want a sword better than that, but I had a point. Oh yeah, TR. Yeah, TR can be a bit scary in a couple spots, but TR is always so nice because it gives you so much time to like plan out some routing you haven't done. Because there's so many rooms that was kind of slow when you were waiting around as you go through them. Definitely a good dungeon for like reviewing anything you have to look over still or planning your next actions. Let's see Hammer Trinex from Gamma here.
Yeah, so this is decidedly slower than Tempered Sword Trinex. Look at all that menuing.
Yeah, it could have been a little bit cleaner from Gamma's end. I'm surprised Gamma didn't do backdoor strats, which I feel are a bit easier. That's my personal opinion. But, yeah. It could have been a little bit faster from Gamma. I'd say it could have been 5 seconds, a little bit more, maybe 10 seconds faster, even with the hammer.
Note, by the way, that we are still using slow ROM here. You can see the lag on Trinex. Just because this is such an execution-heavy tournament, we didn't want to change the cadence of the boss fights mid-tournament.
Yeah, the Trinex might be the thing that affects it the most because the second phase is a lot scarier on low equipment. Because Trinex shoots out so fast and fast ROM that you often just don't get your double spin hit, which you want to get for speed. So that's like one of the biggest things that's scary on low equipment. Yeah, Gamma's grabbing this sword. I think this makes sense.
Okay, so yeah, now we're at sword equality. Andy is up a pod. Gamma is up the back half of TR. And I guess Thieves before Skullwoods makes sense, because then you're in the back of Skullwoods and probably just want to flute away.
Also, by the way, Andy did get silvers. So if anyone's wondering in chat.
Oh, right, it's not on his tracker, but yes, via a very nice couple of hovers.
Thieves Town is one of those dungeons you always have to plan your key routing when you're in that 15-minute study period. Because if you walk in here and you don't know which chest you open in the front of the front 4 chests, you'll just flail around. One of the dungeons you absolutely have to look at. You don't need to know the back half as much, but you need to know big chests, so you know if you do have a small key or not. But Thieves Town definitely a dungeon you have to review in the 15-minute study period, or at least some other point in the seed when you have some time to think.
Yeah, it makes a big difference if you can cleanly route the front of Thieves. That's easily half a minute or more.
My hunch right now is that Andy's probably ahead by a little bit, but it's obviously hard to tell until our players like even up on dungeons, the same dungeons. But it's pretty close.
Yeah, and you know, both of them had execution blunders, so that's also affected things.
Yeah, Andy had the issue with pod clip and just like slow main hub and pod, but the dark rooms are always slower than Gamma's, but like Andy did them really fast where like they're not that much slower, but then Gamma had the slower Trinex fight. Gamma had the fall in Moldum 1. I think Andy slightly routed Cackwell better, and Big Gamma, I think delaying pod, that's the better route choice at that point. And then Andy see a little bit of time at those hovers, Spec Rock Silvers.
So down goes Trinex again. We see just how much faster Tempered Sword fight is.
Yeah, much faster. A bit faster, as I think also Gamma could have done his fight faster. But regardless, it's probably 10 seconds more faster with the Tempered.
But meanwhile, Gamma is about to flight blind, so we will be even up on crystals again in maybe 15 seconds. Certainly has the blind script down.
Yeah, and in this mode, you often are... Okay, there's a cape. Speaking of cape, is you often don't get to have a cape or Borno and you do blind. You might be doing blind on 3 or 4 hard spider servants. You better be good at your script in spoiler.
Well, you definitely weren't going to have cape on that blind fight.
Yeah, I forgot that. I remember seeing that Ped was free and it was on one of the bosses. I forgot it was on blind. But that makes it really safe. It seems really safe now.
Burna's in Aegina. We're not going to get it, but if this weren't a spoiler race, it's entirely possible you'd have Burna for the fight.
Yeah, but this is really comfy for our players. Like they have silvers, they have temper. They could both get golden if they wanted. They have 7 hearts, powder, cape. Like this is comfy for spoiler, and for these 2 players especially.
And the nice thing about Go Mode Skullwoods, you just go straight to the back. Grab this key here, but other than that... But yeah, I think just given the amount of time it takes to do the hedge maze and the cutscene and all that stuff to do pod, that Andy's got a lead here.
Yeah, agreed. I think Gammachoo's try next fight, fall to Moldum 2, and then Moldum 1. I mean, not Moldum 2. And Andy also saving time at the Spec Rock hover, which is nothing in spoiler. Will add up.
Very nice silver arrow strat on that Gibdo to get the key though in the room before Moth.
Yeah, that's a Gamma strat that he's talked about a lot. It's really good. You just shoot a silver straight out the moment that room loads up, and you get a free kill. Super good strat.
And very well behaved Moth too. We'll see if Andy gets the same RNG.
So now we can do Pod or Meyer. Doesn't matter which order. Gamma has barely enough arrows to do the nice silver fight on Vidi. Yeah, I think Pod first makes sense. You can get more arrows stocked up this way. Make sure you're good to go for the Meyer Vidi fight.
Speaking of arrows, Gamma will have a faster Phase 2 Helma than Andy did.
Yeah, we'll save us much time. Yeah, Gamma doing Pod here does make way more sense. Like, this is, I think, the more correct choice with delaying Pod. It's more execution stuff and other things that would make Gamma maybe be a bit behind in the scenario.
Yeah, I mean, that Moldorm fall was the big one.
Moldorm, so Trinex, and then just Andy saving a little bit of time at the Spec Rock hover as well.
Right, but the other 2 things, the slow Trinex fight and the not being able to hover Spec Rock, I think cancel out Andy's problems in the arena.
Yes.
And speaking of which, Gamma will presumably skip Harmless Hellway, so that'll save him a small amount of time.
Yeah, I would expect that as well. Want to farm it, the extra key that Andy did. Oh, free arrows, super nice.
Yeah, I believe there are just 2 small keys here. Grab both of them, and that's that. One to get to the back for the big key, and then one to... Ooh, Gamma missed the bomb throw.
Barely. I'm surprised the bomb missed. It looked close enough. Just a little bit too much to the right. I definitely would say Andy's going to be ahead here, because Gamma still has to go to the back, get the big key, and then beat Helma. Which takes a while. Oh, forgot to switch.
Gamma forgot to hit the switch, too.
Okay, both the players having
you
trouble.
definitely get nerves in a situation like this.
And it's hard to keep track of everything. You're thinking of so much in a spoiler scene, while also trying to do your best execution. It's tough to keep everything together. See, I think Andy's gonna be
probably a minute ahead.
Yeah, like a minute ahead, actually.
Depends how well behaved Moth is. The answer is extremely well behaved, arguably even better behaved than it was for Gamma. So that's 34-18 crystal grab for Andy's 6th crystal.
So this is now Andy's race to lose, and Andy, I know both these players will be watching the other person to see where they're at. So Andy, well, at this point, know they're ahead, and also Andy has plenty of safeties. Like, you shouldn't be anywhere these players would mess up at this point. That would be huge. Like, it can happen, obviously, but I'd be really shocked with their loadout if any like major blunders happen at this point. That would bring it back for Gamma. It's gonna be tough for Gamma to bring this back at this point.
Yeah. So the difference between winning and losing this is the loser has to then beat someone in the losers bracket finals to get a rematch. And then in order to win, they'd have to do a bracket reset.
Yeah.
So the winner of this will be up basically a couple of games.
Yeah, does the person coming from lower bracket have to win 2 games basically?
Right.
But yeah, I like minus CAC. I think so for Gamma, like I think upon review, like,
okay, so that's a solid minute and a half, by the way, between crystal grabs.
Yeah, it's pretty huge. Andy just being a little bit faster, but mostly having that better try next fight, having Inspect Rock Cave, not having the Molten Fall, having yeah.
And honestly, I think even that opening routing, yeah, Gamma got the boots sooner, but Andy did do all the CAC checks quicker. It didn't help that Gamma took 2 tries to farm bombs from south of Grove.
Yeah, I think in the opening route, Andy's routing was better. I think Gamma should have grabbed that sword sooner. I think not having that was because of Trinex was not ideal. I think it made sense. I think if Gamma grabbed that sword, that would have made a lot more sense. Because I think Gamma should have. Andy's route was like the correct way, I would say, at the beginning. What Gamma also could have done was grab the tavern money while doing Sick Kid, and then later on when they activated Flute, then get the Merchant Sword, because then they would have had the money and could have avoided the walk back up to Merchant from Tavern. I think that's actually the correct way to have routed that, but that's hard to plan out in your 15 minutes.
Yeah, and then probably Gamma's routing after that point was better, but he was doing it down a sword.
Yeah, down a sword, and he just out-executed Gamma.
So Big Key and Meyer lobby today, not the worst location, not the best location, and hey, Silver's Viddy. Imagine that. Hi Viddy, bye Viddy. I haven't actually checked where the GT Big Key is.
I did. It's pretty far down.
Yep.
Well, not insanely far down, but a little bit.
So yeah, here's Andy going for the mountain. This is gonna be, I mean, because the Big Key's kind of deep, it's not gonna be like lightning fast. I don't think it's gonna be sub 45, but it should be sub 50 easily.
This was a pretty fast seed overall. Minus a Big Key. Otherwise, see, like, you could single dip all your dungeons. You didn't have to do Aga. You had to go to Pendant Desert. That's the slowest thing about the seed. But you had Oldie Boots. You have Silvers. You have Tempered really easily. Most stuff wasn't out of the way. The only thing again was the Flute from Desert. Everything else was pretty easy to one shot, and it wasn't out of the way.
It's great. Gamma and Andy both knocked off all the vidis so quickly they had to wait like several seconds for the big eye to emerge.
Yeah. I always feel a little annoyed when I'm waiting at that point.
But they both had to do it, so it canceled out. Gamma does need to watch his arrow supply a little bit.
Yeah, should be fine. There's a few spots you can grab arrows in the climb, because I'll have enough to get through the mimics.
Yeah, at least with silvers for the mimics, it's not too big a deal.
And there's another spot they can grab arrows. They have a few options for grabbing arrows. Yeah, Gamma's got options for that, so it shouldn't be an issue. Andy has like just enough because you need 4 silver arrows for mimics, 3 for land mode 2, and then 4 for Ganon, so exactly 11. So assuming Andy doesn't miss a single silver shot and doesn't use them for anything else, doesn't need more silvers, but I expect Andy would grab like at least like 5 somewhere for safety.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there are enough 5 arrows under pots that you probably grab 1.
And you probably want to use some arrows in your gauntlet, since you don't have half magic. You don't have to, you could use fire rod or something instead, but you would have the option probably.
Chat's keeping track. Still right about 1.5 minutes between the 2 runners. Gamma hasn't closed the lead. Andy hasn't extended the lead.
Yeah, Andy grabbed that. Those arrows are free right there. So Andy grabbed those. Those are the arrows Gamma will grab. Or one of the pot.
And there's the big key in Bob's chest.
Yeah, not behind ours almost, but a ways down there. Maybe taking the safe way here, or almost the safe way. This is okay.
Yeah, you're still on green mail. I get that you don't want to shed too many hearts too quickly.
No, it makes sense, and Andy knows they're like a minute and a half ahead. There's no point taking hits to save 5 seconds. When you don't need to.
Though we do also have powder.
Yeah, having powder makes us even more comfy. And we still have a red potion.
And there, Andy just took 2 hits to spikes in that room.
But Andy will know all you have to do is like not have a massive blunder here. Like, don't die. You don't fall off on Ganon, obviously, which are not things that like I don't see Andy doing in the first place. But Andy knows he's got to take it safe. Don't be aggressive. And they should have a spot in Grand Finals. Lots of arrows as well coming off these enemies, so Gamma wants more arrows. Gamma will have no problem. Gammachuu 2 is one of those fights, when you see like a really close spoiler race, it'll often come down to one player messing up land mode 2, and the other one getting like the 1 cycle. So always good to get that 1 cycle there. Otherwise, it can be a huge way to lose. A good way to lose the race. You don't get that. I can't imagine Indy would hover Moldham 2 when he knows he's a minute and a half ahead. When he can just hook shot across. And also knows Gamma can't hover, so.
We'll see.
I would call it pretty reckless. Like, Andy would still win, as long as he gets it in like 3 tries or something.
Andy almost ran out of magic. Good thing the lamp and the fire rod were in the same place, so it would be really weird to have the fire rod and not the lamp.
Andy would have had we had to fall down and grab the refill, which would not be great, but would have been okay, considering the time lead. Andy, they're being smart. Instead of grabbing the mini helmet small key, grabs that one out of the Primoldum chest. So
yeah, I mean,
smart.
if you happen to know there's one there, and yes, you were right, Andy is not taking chances with hovering here.
And normally when you see someone hover that, it's because like, they know they're behind and they're trying to claw back any second they can. And spoiler, normally. That or it's a weird see like hook shot wasn't needed, but it's pretty rare that in spoiler you aren't going to grab the hook shot when you know where it's at. It normally is you're better off grabbing it, even if you can hover really well. Nice pattern on the first one. Like,
ooh, rough Agus cycle for Andy there.
yeah, Andy knows that they could have had at least one hit more, or maybe 2 more hits. So feels a little silly about that, but you know, happens to all of us, even Andy.
Also, worth noting that we're now at the point where a fire bat from Ganon would be an Oko.
Yeah, Andy has a red potion though, and a cape, and he has self can burn the magic. So like, there's really no reason Andy should mess up. Like he could just take the red potion right off the bat for safety, and then just run into Ganon, and then cape anywhere. If you want to take the phase 1 and 2 really safe. So Andy's got ways to make this safe as hell, if he so chooses. Nope, Andy's just gonna. Andy's confident.
Yeah, I mean, he's used to it. And Ganon's in a very nice position, too, for doing those spins.
Not even pulling out the cape. Okay.
But yeah, barring a Ganon fall, I think Andy has this. And a very nice double-triple from Gamma, so he does save a cycle on Aga, too.
Andy had a nice triple there, but Silver's on Ganon 4th phase, so...
And, yeah, get your GGs in for Andy, who will take this, will advance to the Grand Finals, is 1 win away from winning the SGL 2023 Spoiler Log Tournament. And Gamma's just gonna finish up the Ganon fight, not surprisingly.
Yeah, usually when a Ganon fight away, you'll often just finish it out.
Especially
also, a good
with
way
Silvers.
That too. Also, just a good way to cool down after you lose. Kind of like just play the game for a little bit longer. Almost like a nice way to just kind of accept it. Although Gamma at this point already knew for a while what was going to happen. It's a spoiler, and you can know where your opponent is at.
Well, I mean, when you're within a Ganon fall, you don't, like, expect your opponent to make a Ganon fall, but, you know, I've seen both of these guys fall on Ganon. They're not, like, infallible.
I think Andy even, like, died to Ganon or something in one of their spoiler qualifier races. I think Andy still, like, placed really high, like, 1st or 2nd in that seed, because he's Andy, but I do believe it did happen to Andy, yeah, in one of the qualifiers.
I've never died to Ganon in my life.
You haven't?
Oh, hey, GG.
I believe
it didn't
you.
give the chime when you entered. You entered silently.
I do, yeah, I think that happened in one of the qualifiers. Sometimes you just give them a little smooch.
And get your GGs in for Gammachuu as well. The final time difference is 1:31. So basically exactly how far apart you guys were grabbing your 6th crystals was how far apart you finished.
GG's, Andy.
GG's.
So thoughts on this and how it went for you?
I don't think it could have gone too much better. I feel like my route was really clean.
We were a little bit surprised by your early pod play rather than getting the sword off the mountain.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out whether what was better there, and I wasn't sure if like fluting to 5 and going through the warp an extra time was super worth. And yeah, it's just something that like I wanted to do all in one trip, and not have to come back later.
Oh, right, because of where Ether was as well. Forgot
Yeah.
about that. And we're also joined by Gammachuu.
But yeah, I don't know if it mattered too much. Honestly.
Yeah. GG's, Andy.
GG's Gamma.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
hear you.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
GG's.
Hello. GG's, Andy.
Yeah, so I guess that Ether medallion did kind of complicate the routing a little bit.
Did you get the ether before going up the mountain, Andy?
Yeah, I did pod into ether to mountain for the first time.
Oh, you did pod into ether. Did you get that sword in there and pod?
Yeah, that was my tempered.
Okay. Yeah,
I grabbed an early 300 from the tavern to get the merchant sword early.
okay.
And I probably should have done Dam and Mini Moldorm after getting the flute from Desert. I think that was like the only bad thing I did. But yeah, with tempered and like 6 hearts in pod, I wasn't too worried about dying without fire. We had to go all the way. We had to go all the way back to turtles for the pod big anyways. So I was like, the sword's right here. It's fine.
Then you skipped the. Oh yeah. You got the dam sword. You got the dam. Okay, yeah. I never considered getting the pod one. I'm like, that's so late. I don't really feel like doing pod early. We'll just hold off on that. Mirror there wouldn't really help too much early on, because if you're gonna get the big key back there in the sword, you're just gonna about. Mirror is not necessary at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty smart.
I got to skip the top of Paradox, which was nice.
That had
that just had the sword. And,
okay.
like, some money or a heart or something. I had something else noted there. But yeah, this was a fun one to route. It was like I didn't figure out that I should have gotten the flute early until like pretty late in spoiler time. And then I was like, well, flute probably just like helps with early game routing, getting the pearl and getting the eastern and stuff like that.
Yeah, I ended up getting that bottle right there in Lost Woods before going to Kakariko so I could get that book.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to comment. So you guys already discussed the difference in when you did pod and routed in the ether tablet and which swords you got. While the other big difference is how you opened up the route with Kakariko. Because Gamma, you went and grabbed the boots from Maze Race first, farming bombs from the bushes, which you can get great RNG. So it took you 2 tries. Whereas Annie just went straight into Lost Woods and down to Maze Race, and got and grabbed the merchant sword right off the bat, which I know you delayed for quite a while, Gamma, until after TR.
I didn't even see that 300 in the back of Tavern.
Yeah.
I was looking at one and Paradox. I'm like, I'm gonna go to Paradox anyway, so I'll just grab one right next to it.
Okay, so if you had seen the Tavern money, you would have probably gotten more consistent, right?
It would have been very nice to have that temper for at least TR.
Yeah,
but,
we were surprised because I'm like, you could at least grab the Tavern money now, and then when he activates Flute, then grab the sword from Merchant. So I thought maybe but then you didn't grab the Tavern money at all. I'm like, interesting. That makes more sense. But I do think your CAC riding was a little bit slower. I mean, you got unfortunate with the bomb RNG, but it looked a little bit faster for Andy. And then, you not noticing the sword and Tavern money definitely hurt a little bit in PR on the Try Next fight.
I couldn't figure out if it was better to like walk to the woods and then end on race game, or do race game first and then go into the woods and then backtrack. I couldn't figure it out, so I was like, I'm just gonna walk. It's fine.
Yeah, because it felt bad. I have to basically backtrack down to, if I was saving and quitting Blind Side, that's fine, but I'm still having to walk down to Sick Kid.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I think Andy's gonna get boots. I'm just gonna get the boots and hope for the best.
Yeah, I forgot to buy bombs. I was gonna buy bombs after getting that merchant sword, and I didn't for Mini Moldorm Cave. So I was like, well, so we get to pray RNG for the rock outside of Link's house. Thankfully, it was second try. Exactly as intended.
I think the only major, derp on my end was the Moldorm Fall, like the middle drop down. So that felt pretty bad. I assume you took care of her when you got your mitts up there.
Yeah, I had tempered, so the fight was significantly easier.
Yeah.
He tried. He hit me, but I was like half a tile away from falling off.
Yeah, and then the sword difference also showed on the Trinix fight.
Yeah. I was playing a little safe there. I almost ran out of magic. But no, overall, I felt like it felt pretty good-ish. The damn sword, I don't know. I didn't even see that till kind of late because I was planning on killing the mini Moldorms with Samaria with a full magic from the crab. I'm like, oh, I could get this stamp sword. For the chest is faster, but I'm just like, I'm just gonna get it, whatever. Paradoxo was something I was always eyeing on because that 300 was right there. So, and Pod Dark, I was like, just not gonna do that. Just an extra flute over to the 5.
Yeah, the pod or the paradox money was like on my radar until I was like, okay, I want to do everything before the mountain, I think. So I started looking for another source of money.
And I was wondering too if you were gonna get that silvers up there. I think it's definitely worth.
Yeah.
Especially for Viddy, but I didn't even see the cape from blind until I was in the dungeon. Like, oh, there's a free cape here.
Same. I didn't. At that point, I had like stopped really looking at stuff because I had looked for like armor upgrades and half magic, and I was like, I don't think any of this stuff's really worth it.
Yeah.
And then the cape came out. I was like, oh, that's nice.
The sea was pretty nice safety-wise, except for armor. Otherwise, it was overall pretty friendly in terms of like heart containers pretty early on. Silver swords weren't bad. Red potion, cape, powder.
Yeah, you could have got armor in brewery isn't like terrible, but with that much health, there was like no reason.
Yeah, 7 hearts. I felt pretty comfy. Normally, I pick up a few heart pieces along the way. I think I ended up forming 1. I'm like, yeah, that's good enough. I'm already at 7. It's like the comfort level right there.
Yeah, I think there was 1 on Helmasaur, and I think that's the only one I got.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what? There were 3 heart containers in CAC that you guys picked up right off the bat. Well, both of you get a nice long break after this while the losers bracket finals. The losers bracket as a whole plays out. There's still 6 other runners in it who need to eliminate each other.
Yeah, we wanted to get this match out of the way. I'm on vacation for a week starting tomorrow, so.
Oh, nice.
This works out nice. We got to sit back and relax and watch the lower side fold out. See how it plays out.
Yeah, and then Gamma, you get to play whoever emerges battered and bruised from that.
That'll be fun.
The right to a rematch with Andy.
Yeah, that was the big thing, avoiding losers bracket early in this because the whole crew is nasty.
So many matches too. It's like, I'm happy where I'm at though.
Same.
Yeah. I was listing off the 6 people left in the losers bracket at this point, and they are all really scary runners. So we'll see how that all plays out over the coming couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out. Thanks for coming. Thanks for restreaming. GG's again, Gamma.
Yeah, echoing what he said. Thanks for the comms, restream, and GG's Andy. And enjoy your vacation.
Will do. Lots of beach and drinks.
There you go.
Yeah, GG's again to both of you guys. And of course, please give the runners a follow if you're somehow not already following both of them. As for this tournament, As we mentioned, the lower bracket matches will continue to play out starting tomorrow at 8:45 p.m. Eastern. Matt 7898 versus Telethar. You definitely want to check that out. We've put the link to the schedule and the bracket in the chat, so please do keep an eye out for a channel for that. And follow Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 7. Yes, we're using Speed Gaming 7 because SGL has kept us that busy. And also here in the booth, thanks again, Nervendolk, for tracking. And thanks, Specs, for doing this for me in your busy weekend.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was fun. Nah, sport was my favorite thing to watch, so always happy to calm one of these.
And it was certainly a lightning-fast match. And with that, for something a little different, I think we're going to send you guys over to Speed Gaming 7, where a match between Skelly and someone is getting underway in Hybrid Major Glitches. So, thanks for watching here, and we'll see you all over there.